Good morning. Welcome to today's edition of 2 Minutes to Win It. Our verse this week comes from Judges chapter 7 and verse 20, which says, "Then all three groups blew their horns and broke their jars. The blazing torches they held in their left hands and the horns they held in their right hands, and they all shouted, 'A sword for the Lord and for Gideon.'" We're looking this week at supernatural wins, particularly the supernatural win that came with the assistance of God for Gideon and his 300 men over the mighty Midian army. We want to know how can what they did instruct us. The first thing that this band of 300 did was to blow their horns. What does the blowing of the horn symbolize? The blowing of the horn, first of all, for the Jews introduces Rosh Hashanah. That's a time of rest, reflection, and repentance 10 days prior to Yom Kippur. That also introduces Jubilee, which is the time commanded and demanded by God for rest and restoration for the people of Israel. And so, my friends, if we're going to have victory in life, we've got to understand the rhythm between getting it done and getting away. We can't work all the time. We can't rest all the time. There's a rhythm between rest and work. And my friends, we also understand based on this story that the blasting of the horn is a warning for war. Everything is not just laid in our laps because we love the Lord. Some things we've got to fight for. Everything's not going to be given to us. Some things have to be taken with the fight of faith. And so, my friends, we've got to be strong and courageous and rise to fight and take our destiny. We also recognize in the blowing of the shofar, or the ram's horn, which is what was used here, that there's a symbolism in that as well. When Abraham was atop of Mount Moriah and Isaac was bound as a sacrifice on the altar of wood, the angel of the Lord shouted and said, "Abraham, do thy son no harm. Look over there, there is a ram caught in the thicket." The ram in the bush, we understand, is Jesus Christ. And so as he offered a substitute sacrifice in the stead of his son, we win because our great substitute has died, was buried, rose from the dead, and took his place at the Father's right hand so that he could always be with us with the challenges we face in life. And so, my friends, the blowing of the horn tells us that we need to remember that there's a time for rest, reflection, and repentance. We need to remember that there is a time when we've got to rise and fight and take what is ours in the spirit. And we need to remember that we are never alone. The Christ of God is always with us. We win in the invisible realm before the victory is ours in our hands. Have a blessed day.